back to the Dynasty Fantasy Football Maniacs. Today, me and Austin's going to cover our top 10 rookie wide receivers, and this is post-draft. So this is where they land now. Kind of changed up our previous rankings, but not too much. We are going to start in reverse order. Start with number 10. But I'm going to start with the number 10 that Austin did not rank, but I did rank. This guy ranked
Okay.
10. His name's Luke McCaffrey. He's for the Washington
Uh,
Commanders.
I figured
Uh,
you were going that route.
yeah, he barely made it in my list. It was a time like the wide receiver class is so deep. It's like my top 15, like 10 to 15. I constantly swapped them back and forth, and I finally made a decision and put Luke there at 10. I think he's going to do great for the Washington Commanders. I mean, it's a McCaffrey. You got to bet on a McCaffrey. I mean,
well,
history's done told us since Ed McCaffrey. You got to bet on him. I'm betting on him.
uh, I guess if that's good, that's as good as any other argument.
Yeah, I mean, he did play in the Big Ten for 2 years. He played with Nebraska. Nebraska was like a complete whatever, and I didn't blame him for transferring out. He's a big name. He didn't really care to go to any other school, so he went to Rice and finished out his college career at Rice. He got drafted in the third round, 100 pick, and Washington's rebuilding, and they got Jaden Daniels getting on board. I think it really added to the wide receiver core, so it would definitely help them out.
Oh yeah.
So, get to your number 10, which I have ranked number 8. And I
Oh,
originally
okay.
had him ranked 10 in my initial rankings pre-draft. Xavier Liggett from South Carolina. And guess what? He got drafted to the Carolina Panthers. And I think it's a great, I mean, if you look at that wide receiver front right now, you have Deontay Johnson for Pittsburgh, Xavier Liggett, and Adam Thielen. Wow, that's not that bad. I mean, if anybody remember Bryce Young, yeah, he struggled his first NFL year. But if you remember him back when he played with Alabama, he wasn't a very big guy. But if you give him a decent set of wide receivers and he can pitch down the field short, quick, fast, all three of these wide receivers meet that criteria. So talk about some exciting time. Some of them might run down for the deep ball occasionally. The only thing Carolina needs to work on right now is getting that front for protection. They need to get the tight ends in there. They need to get a better front linebacker. And I believe they worked a little bit off this season to try to improve it. I don't think they're there yet. I don't think he's going to have an outstanding year, but I do think we're going to see him have an improvement, hopefully. So it's good to see Xavier Liggett join the Carolina Panthers. I'm excited to watch that. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, the three wide receivers right there are good wide receivers. They're not bad by any means.
Yeah. I just think Adam Thielen's trying to beat Father Time, but Father Time is catching up with him. But he's still going to be pretty relevant. I I don't know. Maybe in fantasy he might be a low wide receiver too. But the reason why I have Xavier Leggett at 10 is because last year wasn't that very good. I mean, we all saw it. I'm
Yeah.
hoping I'm hoping I'm hoping that Bryce Young, they give him more chances to develop, and I hope that offensive line is a little bit more stout than last year. That way, he's not constantly running for his life. But we already know Deontay Johnson's going to be the top dog. I
Yep.
mean, he was a target hog when he was in Pittsburgh, and I still believe he has the potential to be that as well, especially with Bryce Young. Leggett, I can actually see Leggett beating out Adam Thielen for the wide receiver two.
I honestly think that's exactly what's going to happen. I'll have to agree with you. Adam Thielen, he's on his last leg. He's been in the
Mm.
league for a lot of times. He's not done yet. He's going to be a valuable asset this year and probably next year. But he's going to be good at training these two wide receivers. Dante Smith Johnson's already a good wide receiver. He come from Pittsburgh. But I believe he's going to kind of get that team a little bit better. It's going to be exciting to watch. I believe if I had any of these players on my roster, I'd be happy as flex position or bench players. They're probably not my wide receiver one or two at this moment because of the team itself, not the player. But I would definitely play one of these guys in a flex spot. Definitely want to have them on my bench, beefing up the roster, and that's just my thoughts. So ESPN did the computer simulation, and they got him ranked Xavier Liggett 139. This is overall with all positions, and they have him estimated on a PPR league scoring 156 points. And in wide receivers, he's ranked 61. And this is all projection. This ain't real. This is projection for
I
2024.
If I was a betting man, I would have to go on the over on the 61.
You
That's
don't
just
think
me.
he'll ending up at 61 at the end of the season? You think he'll
I think
rank
he'll
higher?
I think he'll rank a little bit higher than 61.
I hope he does too.
I can see somewhere in the 40s.
Yeah, I can actually, if he turns out to be the wide receiver two and it just starts clicking there, I could definitely see that. I mean, it would be some exciting stuff to watch. So
Right.
I would definitely look out for that.
And not to mention, they also drafted Jonathan Brooks, which is going to help their run game too, which should help them open up in the passing game. So it'll be interesting to see.
Right. So we're gonna move on to the next player because I have him ranked 8. You have him ranked 10. So number 9, we both agreed. Uh, we both agreed on. I said his name right earlier, Mitchell.
Adonai Mitchell.
Anani Mitchell.
Yep.
So we both have him ranked number 9. He's considered wide receiver 2 currently for the Colts. Overall ranking, he's ranked 6. Oh, whoa, I missed that up. Sorry. Scrolled through that too quickly. So he's ranked 73 projection and 206 among all players. So they don't have a whole lot on him. But what I look at is he was a good wide receiver. The quarterback there is still a little bit unknown. Is he going to run the ball? Is he going to throw the ball? I mean, you got Michael Pittman there, Joshua Downs. Michael Pittman's going to probably get he's going to probably be the wide receiver 1. It'd be definitely worth picking up for a flex position because there's potential, but it really depends on who's quarterbacking and what's going on in Indianapolis. Do
I
you
have a
kind
lot
of
of
agree?
I have a lot of high hopes for. This might be just me being biased, but I really have high hopes for Anthony Richardson. I mean, we didn't get to see a lot of him last year, and but the games that we did see him was outstanding.
Right.
But this does help Anthony Richardson, especially in the passing game. So I think, and I'm hoping Anthony Richardson comes out and he does great. Which, like you said, Michael Pittman, I can see getting most of the targets. But then you get look at it now. It's just a battle of who's going to be the next guy to get the targets. Because he is projected to be on the other side, Michael Pittman, but Josh Downs is also in the slot. And I know Anthony Richardson wasn't playing last year, but Josh Downs was targeted a pretty good bit in the slot.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So he got hurt because he run a lot, right? And then they put in Minshew, and he did wow, took him to the playoffs. But guess who they went out to acquire to replace Minshew? Joe Flacco. You got to be kidding me. So if there's a swap at quarterbacks, I'd say every one of them wide receivers would be bumped up immediately. So big over.
I I mean, yeah, but I can see Anthony Richardson improving, and especially in the running game, they're gonna teach him how to protect himself when he runs the ball. So I'm not really worried.
I
I
ain't
think
either. I'm
I
glad
would
that.
I would definitely still get Adnan Mitchell because he's gonna be a vocal point in the offense, along with Michael Pittman and Jonathan Taylor. So
I
I
agree.
think it's gonna be I think it's gonna be good.
I do. I do. I'm also with you on that. I'm just throwing that out there. I thought that was a neat little tidbit. It keeps
Well,
people aware of the situation at the team because knowing the quarterback's backup, knowing the team does help you in fantasy because if you don't have a backup, everything could go south. And the one thing I like about this whole thing is I'm glad they were able to come to common grounds with Jonathan Taylor. I'm glad all that got pushed aside and they fixed it. And here they are. Here they're coming out next year. They went to the playoffs last year. I honestly think they'll do another run, even if Anthony Richardson stays healthy all year. I think the only thing we're going to see is an improvement. It's exciting. Watch these players play, but we do know for the wide receivers, Pittman will probably lead, and then they'll just see who's the number 2 wide receiver after that,
yeah,
Josh
it's gonna
Downs or Mitchell, and
it's gonna
either
be
one of them are
interesting.
good for flex positions. I'll tell you right now, there's not many teams I will say the team are good flex and the other ones are one because
Well, I
Pittman is not a
mean,
flex.
well, no, he's the one. He's the wide
Yeah.
receiver one, and Josh. It's gonna be interesting because Josh Downs actually got 98 targets last year,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gonna be interesting how they split it up, especially with Anthony Richardson. But I think there's gonna be a love spread around, and Agion Mitchell, I can see he could be a good flex, but also I can see the potential of him being like a wide receiver two, like a
The
low wide receiver two.
So the next player is Kenyon Coleman from Florida State, and
This
he
this
got
is Josh
drafted.
Allen's guy.
Yes, and this is the only reason I went ahead and ranked him where I ranked him. Okay, so you ranked him 8. I ranked him 6. In my opinion, he's a 6. No, he didn't produce a whole lot for me to say, oh, he's a 1,000-yard guy. He's the guy to do it. His quarterback went down. And I honestly think, still to this day, that guy didn't go down. We'd be talking about how he was going to be a great quarterback coming out, but it happened. Whatever. Can't. How it's how injuries happen. So him being named wide receiver 1 and who he's going against in that room, he is the wide receiver 1. I would be inching. I mean, I just don't see Curtis Samuel jumping out there. Shakir, yeah, Kyle Shakir, I believe he could do something.
He's got
Chase,
promise.
yeah, he has promise. He does. Chase Claypool, you burned me too many times. I don't want to even waste
No,
my time or effort with you. It's nothing against you. Great NFL player, just not my guy I want to put on my team anymore.
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
no. You gonna sing it for me?
I will sing it to the heavens, brother.
All right.
You're just wasting a draft pick at that point.
Yeah. So he's ranked 124 out of all the players. Actually, you'll find out the next couple wide receivers we talked about are pretty well ranked nicely among the NFL players. And he's 53 in the wide receiver. I honestly think he'll finish higher in the wide receiver. I will be betting he will. I don't want to say he'll be, I say between 25 and 35 will be his ranking. But that really depends on Josh Allen. But really, honestly, I think he's his go.
Oh,
He don't have Gabe Davis. He don't have any. This is going to be his go-to guy. It has to be the guy he goes to. So it'd be very exciting to see.
I I can see that, but the only person I would probably throw out there that I mean, he's still going to be the number one wide receiver, but I can see another guy who could potentially take targets from him as Dalton Kincaid.
Oh yeah,
I can,
Dalton Kincaid
I,
will always
I,
take targets. I'm not
I can.
including the tight ends.
Well,
Oh
I understand, but we got to look at the bigger picture here. You got to look
yes.
at the bigger picture, and you got to also think Dawson Knox is still on that
See,
team.
that's what I just thought of. Knox is still there, and he was a very good wide receiver for a
And
tight end.
plus, and plus, you got to also think about it this way. This is just me putting down the reason why I have him at 8, and not the, like I think he's going to do great, especially because he's connected to a really elite quarterback. It's just, especially when we get close to the red zone, is we Josh Allen can run and score touchdowns, and he's done that significantly. And I not only mention that, anytime they get into the red zone, they actually want to pound the ball in because anytime they get down to the red zone, they want to hand it off, but they don't hand it off to James Cook. They hand it off to their Latavius Murray or whoever's the next beefy guy. So, but I still think I'm always I've been battling with this. I wanted to put him a little higher, but I also at the same time I just want to see how it goes. I want to see if he's actually going to be like scoring touchdowns and actually getting yards too, like breaking out like Stephon Diggs, or if he's going to be, like a Gabe Davis replacement or something. That's the
Yeah.
only reason. That's the only reason why I have him at 8. If I once, because we'll be updating these rankings as long as we go. I could easily sway myself into changing it to go higher.
All right. So let's move on to number 7. Now, this is where we disagreed, but like you didn't like go with the Luke McCaffrey, I didn't go with the Ricky Pearsall. Now,
Mm.
don't say I didn't like him. He was ranked behind 2 other wide receivers I have. I have him currently in my top 20, ranked 13. I have him behind Jermaine Burton and Jalen Polk from New England. That's just where I have him ranked. He is listed as a wide receiver. He's playing alongside Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, but I'm considering Ronnie Bell won't stay in that position behind Ayuk. He'll end up going to wide receiver 3. And there's my reasonings behind that. I just don't think they made that move yet. Uh, he is ranked pretty good. He's ranked 86 as a wide receiver, and overall in players, he's ranked 252, which is not that. But I mean, he did fall on my radar as that guy that I would pick up on. So, but you currently have him ranked 7, and I don't have him ranked.
I will give you my reasoning.
Okay.
And the reason why I have him at 7 is draft capital. And look, and hear me out on this. They picked him up in the first round, and they currently have him as a slot wide receiver. But here's the question that is eventually going to happen. It might not happen right now, and it might not happen this year. But Brandon Ayuk and Debo Samuel are not. They're not going to be on the 49ers. Like one of them is not going to be on the 49ers coming up after this year.
Oh, I
There's
totally
already done.
agree.
Already has been rumors. I mean, there was a reason. Now I question why they got Ricky Pearsall, but it is what it
It
is.
is. I mean, they
But
could have
it
grabbed
is
so
what
many others.
it is what it is. But they still drafted a first round wide receiver. That's
Yeah.
saying something. So it might not happen this year, but eventually, going down the line, Brandon Ayuk doesn't get a contract extended and he wants out. They want to trade him, or they extend Brandon Ayuk, but then they ship Debo out. So
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of rumors about that and stuff. Like I said, it might not happen this year, but he would be a great stash, especially for after this year. Now, he can still produce going into this year too, I believe, because also you also got to look at all the weapons they have and how the pie chart is going to be spread out. Even then, I can still see him being like, I can still see you putting him in the flex spot if you need a flex starter. I
Yeah.
can see you doing that, but I also put him at 7 because I think he's a great stash that he's going to get elevate himself up, especially whenever if and when one of the 2 big receivers that's been there is going to be shipped out somewhere.
Yes, that's true. It's always good if they're like a wide receiver 1 in the first round, but there's been a lot of wide receiver 1s in the first round that never make it. So,
Right, but you can't just ignore it either.
no, you can't ignore it until after the second year, then you can ignore it. So, I give them 1 year, 2 years at the most. But hey, I get it. I understand. Some people are really heavy on Pearsall. I mean, there is some people out there that's
Well,
saying he's going to be the
I'm
next one.
Well, I'm not that heavy. That's the reason why he's at 7 and not
Mhm.
any higher.
Yeah. I think he had him ranked pretty reasonable. I mean, like I said, I had him ranked in my top 15, so I did give him some consideration. And like I said, when I got to my 10, it was really hard to decide who I was going to put at 10. And in the bottom line, Luke McCaffrey beat them all out. But for everybody's listening, I kind of also agree with Austin. He is someone that I would probably consider stashing with the situation and the way the 49ers play. Stash him in my taxi squad because you never know. He could be that next guy. And the
And like,
49ers have that talent of picking them wide receivers. So can't argue them when they pick a wide receiver. It's hard.
I mean, Kyle Shanahan saw something, so we shall
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. We will see if that comes to fruition. So the next one, we
I'm
also
excited.
did a huh?
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah.
I'm giddy on this one. But go ahead.
You know, the next one you ranked at 6 was Lad McConkey. I had him a little bit higher. I ranked him 4. I'm a little bit higher on Lad McConkey. The reason
I
why
understand.
Reason why is Hardball went in there and got rid of all their wide receivers, and then they bring this young man in there, and I look behind him, and it's not. I'm not trying to knock Joshua Palmer. I'm not trying to knock Quinton Johnson, but what did they do last year? And then you got some special little things going on this team. A lot of people ain't even paying attention. You got Jerry Rice's son, and I know it's his son, but let me tell you, if you watch this kid's film, why is he even behind something? But I get it because he was drafted in the 7th round. The other guy was drafted in the 1st round. Totally get it. He's gonna have to earn that spot, but I think he's gonna end up getting it. I'm like, there's so much potential here. I think they got him ranking 48 for wide receivers, just wide receivers projection. He's gonna be above 48. I just don't see Herbert not being able to toss the ball around. There's never anything to prevent him from
Oh,
throwing the ball.
he'll
And
definitely toss
La'ad
that ball.
McConkey can catch the ball. So that gives him a lot of opportunity. And I just think he's going to be higher than 48. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 10 wide receiver. It's kind of hard to say to be a top 10 wide receiver, but I believe he'll be in the top 20. Uh, I honestly think he'll end up being wide receiver 1 for that team. I think he'll be the go-to guy at the end of the year. But we'll see how Palmer
No,
pulls it off.
no. I mean, I don't have. I am not a big Palmer guy. So I believe McConkey is going to take this wide receiver room over.
Yeah, I agree. I
But
agree 100%.
but the reason why the only reason why I don't have like McConkey higher is because by the off-season moves and by the draft moves, you can clearly see that they want to run the ball.
Yeah.
They signed so many different running backs to be the committee. They got Greg Rollman as their offensive coordinator who loves to run the ball. Now, I'm not saying that Justin Herbert is still going to pass because they're going to have games where they're behind and they're going to have to throw the ball. That they'll still be good in the passing game. It's just not going to be how it was last year with the Kellen Moore offense because Kellen Moore liked to throw the ball more than run the ball, but it's a total switch. So
Right.
that's the only reason why I have him at 6. I know they're gonna throw, but I don't think they're gonna throw as much as they did last year. I still think they're gonna throw a pretty good bit, but that's the only reason why I have him 6. Other than that, I would have him probably somewhere around where you have.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. They are going to run the ball there at the Chargers. I mean,
But I am excited for the kid though. I really when I watched more tape on him and stuff, I kept hearing people talk about him more. I just started growing. He just started growing on me
yeah,
a lot more.
he definitely grew on me, and that's why I was kind of excited about him. And just to kind of
Right.
follow up with you, they did a running back crew. They got J.K. Dobbins, they got Gus Edwards, they got
Yeah.
Fidel. Now there's rumor that they're going to probably cut Isaiah Spiller. That came out today, but right behind him is Elijah Dotson, and then they got another guy, Jarrett Patterson. They got fullbacks, which everybody knows Hardball's big on fullbacks too. They picked up a rookie this year, Benson. He come from Georgia Tech, undrafted. He used to play tight end too, so he played both virtual positions. So an undrafted guy that he pulled in there that comes from Georgia Tech is a Power Five school, but just didn't have a very good record. You never know, this guy might become the best thing because to have that dual position playing tight end and fullback, that tells you he has some skills. More in the blocking, most likely, because I've never heard of him in the passing. But it would definitely be interesting to see what he does. And then they have another fullback there that has a little bit more experience, but nope. They have two undrafted fullbacks. They also picked up Ben Mason from Michigan. Oh, figures. But no, he's not a rookie. Hold on. His original team was Baltimore, but he originally played for Michigan, so he probably played for Harbaugh. Practicing squad for Baltimore. Waived. He's been pushed around a little bit. So yeah, I totally agree with you when it comes to that. So let's move on to the next one. One we agree on. So we both are in agreement of Brian Thomas Jr., number 5, going to the Jaguars. Another exciting wide receiver, really, because I think he has a lot of high potential. Now, in my honest opinion, his biggest competition right there is Christian Kirk. Nothing bad about Gabe Davis from Buffalo, but Gabe Davis was a hit and miss at Buffalo. Why do we think he's the number 1 wide receiver all of a sudden? I don't see it. He never made it there, and I know, yeah, he played behind Stephon Diggs, but he never made it past that point. That switch doesn't just happen. So I totally do. I understand they have him lined up as the wide receiver 1. I get it. Experience, time, and where he comes from. Brian Thomas Jr. does not have Malik Neighbors there. The reason he was not a wide receiver 1 at LSU. So I think looking at this wide receiver core, the only one that could be a scary surprise is Devin Duvernay from Baltimore. They picked him up. Baltimore finally got rid of him. And he had moments at Baltimore overshadowed by other players. And maybe he's never going to be that guy. Maybe he's always going to be a punt returner, and that's the best he's ever going to do. But I don't really see Brian Thomas Jr. having much competition there in the wide receiver room other than Christian Kirk. I mean, I might be wrong. That's just my opinion.
So I can see why some people are saying that Gabe Davis might be some competition just due to the fact Gabe Davis had 81%. He had 81 targets last year, and that was also with Stephon Diggs and Shakir and Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I can kind of see it, but I still think, my opinion, I think Brian Thomas is going to be the number 1 receiver,
So
and then
yeah,
it's gonna be because when I'm looking at it, I think the second one is going to be Christian Kirk
okay.
because because he had 85 targets, which is only a couple more, but at the same time, Christian Kirk also he was a little bit banged up last year as well. So
Mhm.
I think he would have had more targets if he would have, played the whole season. Gabe Davis is he's gonna be like a complimentary guy for this, but this all helps Trevor Lawrence though. Like
Oh God, yeah.
whether if it is Brian Thomas, it's going to help Trevor Lawrence tremendously.
Yeah, I agree.
So, but I still think Brian Thomas is going to be leading the charge on this team. That's the reason why I mean, you probably think the same thing. That's the reason why we have him before, because I just think he's going to take over this wide receiver room, and then Christian Kirk and Gabe Davis are gonna be the other two that are gonna. I guess they can battle it out for wide receiver too, but regardless, it's gonna help them out regardless. So I think Jacksonville did pretty good on this pick.
I think they did too. I think it'd be a good replacement and a good movement forward. And before we move on to the next pick, I want to say our top 5. These guys really, I honestly, let me re-say this: the top 6, because Lad McConkey, Austin has them 6. I have them 4. These guys here are like really good.
They're franchise guys, in my opinion.
Yeah. Now, one we disagreed with a little bit more than like positional was your number 4 spot. You have Xavier Worthy. I ranked him 7. And the reason why I ranked him 7 is yes, Rashid Rice is in trouble. Okay, so that's going to give him an opportunity to play. I know his OTAs didn't go very well. I'm not sure what all went on there. I've read up on some of it. They've not released anything like video wise to say he did bad, but they just said there was some struggles. I'm not sure what the struggles were.
It's
He's
called
they,
all.
they
It's called off the field struggles. That's what it's called.
no, Xavier Worthy was having trouble on the field.
I ain't saw nothing about him.
I was reading the article and digging into the Chiefs page. I look at Sky Moore, Justin Ross. They're all good wide receivers, but they're not. I think Xavier Worthy is faster than all them guys. But I don't know what the
Oh
struggles was.
God.
We won't know until spring starts. I'm not high on him, but I'm high on him enough to put him in my rankings. And would I pass him up in the draft? Depending on where I'm at in the draft, probably not. I would stash him away just to see how he plays out. I'm just not high on him. He's not ranked that high either. He's ranked 57 as wide receiver. It's 134. So I'm just looking at. Let me tell you, when Rashid Rice comes back, if he comes back from his suspension, he'll end up being wide receiver 1 again because he was the man then. He was becoming the man. And Hollywood Brown, a lot of people forget how good he really was. There was a time he was always the man on the teams he played on. He had issues. I mean, whatever. What last team he was at was Arizona. Kyle Murray was out most of the time, so I don't think he'll take wide receiver 1 away from Rashid Rice. I think Xavier Worthy will get his shot, and this is his opportunity. Kadarius Toney. So think about this:
Mm-mm.
when Kadarius Toney got his shot, he blew it. Look at what happened. Xavier
Mm-mm.
Worthy, understand Patrick Mahomes only gives you 1 shot. He's proven this over and over again as a quarterback. If you can't connect with him, he moves on. And he pushes the next guy in front. He can make anybody a star. I just don't have him that high up. But I do have him ranked 7.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown is toast
Eh,
because he had 101 targets. Guess what he did with them 101 targets? He had 51 receptions, 574 yards, and only 4 touchdowns. That is wide receiver 52 numbers. And then the year before that, he had 107 targets. Guess what he did with that? Hey, this is a little bit of numbers, but 67 target. Yeah, 67 receptions, 709 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Hollywood Brown is starting to trend down.
yes, in time he
It's
is.
starting to trend down. Rasheed Rice, yes, I do agree he could be the number 1, but at the same time, this dude cannot quit staying out of the headlines because he's already got like 7 or 8 charges on him from this wreck. Now he's going around now, and
Punching
there's alle- there's,
photographers.
alle- there's allegations saying that he's going out punching photographers, and he's getting investigated for that.
So I just read an
So
article about that. He actually he told the guy to leave. The guy left. Then he called the guy back, and the guy thought, well, he's called him back to get his picture taken. And then when he arrived, he punched him.
uh, regardless, this this is not good.
No, it's
So
not. No, it's not.
so if it is true, the dude's probably not even going to be playing this year because not to mention he's already got these 8 other charges on him from the wreck earlier that the NFL is already going to suspend him for. But then
Yeah.
now this happens, it wouldn't surprise me if he misses half the season or actually the whole season. That's what I'm worried about. So I can see Xavier Worthy actually, you know, being one of the guys for this offense. Unless Hollywood Brown surprised me for but the past 2 years he hasn't been that good, and Sky Moore I just see nothing in. I see a lot more with Justin Watson and Justin Ross, but I think Sky Moore was just a uh-oh pick. But and Xavier Worthy is, and
I-
the Chiefs were worried about this
so why would you
because,
say that about Sky Moore? I mean, he was picked in the second round, same round as
and he sucks.
Well, I don't think he was that bad. I just don't think he had the opportunities.
You know,
So
okay.
I think he's been there yet. I don't think he's got it yet. But
I, I don't think he will.
uh,
I don't think he will because he's had some games where he played over 60% of the snaps. Hasn't
so
really, but
yeah,
hasn't really done nothing with it. But either way, I disagree. I really like Xavier Worthy now. There's still questions about, yes, he's fast, but let's see how he actually works in this offense. But I think they're gonna make him work in this offense, especially with Andy Reid and all the gadget plays that they come up with. I think they're gonna put Xavier Worthy in a very great spot to succeed.
that's probably true. So yeah, I'll stick with that. We'll move on. I'm all right with that. I ain't gonna disagree. All right. So moving out of Xavier Worthy, as I said, Austin ranked him 4, and I ranked him 7. Now we're all going to agree the rest of the way. I don't think any of me disagree anyway, anyhow, or anything on this. I got like a fly flying around me. I'll start boxing it in a minute.
Uh,
Driving me nuts. She opened the door a minute ago, so I'm like,
yeah.
Rome Tuesday. So we both agree on him. Now, okay, I'm gonna tell everybody, yes, he's listed there, and you got DJ Moore, you have Keenan Allen, you have Rome Tuesday. Keenan Allen had his best year last year, and the reason why he left the Chargers is the money. Now, we all know the history of getting paid sometimes. So he's getting paid for the Bears, so that could happen, but I'm not saying it will happen. I think Rome Tuesday will not get as many opportunities as I would like him to get this year, but he is a stud, and he has proven to be a guy to go out and get stuff when he needs it. I honestly think that DJ Moore will probably be the key wide receiver 1, and Keenan Allen will be number 2, and Rome Tuesday will be number 3. Any one of these guys would be good for flex because really we don't know. The unknown is Caleb Williams. Who is going to be his favorite? And how is he going to handle that ball? Because he's known to pick receivers, and he's also known to share the ball, just like Patrick Mahomes. So he's a kind of unreadable guy, and if he is successful and the O line is able to hold and he gets the opportunity to make decisions, all 3 of them wide receivers are going to be like, oh wow, okay. I mean, can't say much more. But with that being said, I honestly believe if any of them guys got hurt, there ain't much behind them. If you look at their backups, it's not a whole like, oh wow. I mean, they are it. So if any one of them go down, the other one's going to pick up more targets because a lot of these other guys are just fillers. So it'd be interesting to watch. Rome Tuesday is ranked number 47 for projection, 112 for scoring. They're projected him 175 points. I can see that. I would definitely draft him. I wouldn't hesitate. I mean, any of these top 3, I would draft and put on my team if I had opportunity. I'd draft them in the order that they are. I would not draft them ahead of either one of them.
Basically, you're just gonna have the same situation like in Seattle, where you have DK Metcalf, and then you got Tyler Lockett, which they extended him. So yeah, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he's just gonna have to wait a little bit again because Tyler Lockett signed an extension. But it's just another one of them situations since you have DJ Moore and Keenan Allen there. Moore and Keenan Allen are target machines. Oh my god, they're target machines. So it's gonna be interesting. I would definitely draft Roman Doomsday still because you have, yes, he's still gonna be out there on the field, but it just depends on also how Caleb Williams go. But if you look at next year, there could be a potential of one of these big names not even being on here because of them for whatever reason, saving money or whatever. We
Yeah.
don't know. This is just all speculation, but still, they can get out of either contract with Keenan Allen or DJ Moore in a couple of years. So Roma Dunze will be skyrocketed. Hell, he could actually skyrocket if he were with Caleb Williams and him really just connect and press us because that's like his favorite target. Kind of like
Yeah.
how CJ Stroud, his favorite target is Tank Dell, and he's done basically showed his love out of how he really loves Tank Dell.
Yeah. Well,
So it's just to be
yeah.
interesting. It just also depends on how Caleb Williams is and what his tendencies are, and because you also got to think there also is Cole Kmet in a tight end spot, and then you
Mhm.
also, but then they also signed DeAndre Swift from the Eagles, so he can catch balls out of the backfield too. So it's gonna be this team's gonna be very fun to watch. So as we get into it, we'll definitely start seeing how things are gonna be looking.
Oh, definitely. And just to give you guys a perspective, a lot of people like look at this and they see Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and they're like, okay, yeah, they're good wide receivers. No, they're not just good wide receivers. DJ Moore was number 6 last year in PPR, number 11.
Really, because Sleepers
That
got him at 8.
well, on the
He
PPR
finished
that
8th last year.
I got on my PPR list that I downloaded, it has him the scores it, for PPR. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
You were right about the DJ Moore though. Sleeper, they got him finished at 6th.
You're right. Okay, so what happened, guys? Let me explain myself. I had half standard open and PPR.
Oh,
So
that
standard,
okay.
DJ
That
Moore
makes more
lands
sense.
6 in standard and in PPR. And guess what? Keenan Allen lands as 11 in standard and 8 in PPR. Now, most of
because
our
of
leagues are
because
closer to
of all
PPR.
it's because all them receptions. Them receptions boost up, and
Oh,
especially in our
points.
leagues, this boosts up the points.
Yep. So I got to be cautious of what I bring up, and I'm sorry that was like a little misleading, but thank you for correcting me, Austin. So yeah,
Hey,
but
no
either
problem.
way, that's crazy. I mean, you got a 6 and a number
All
8.
right.
That's crazy. So
Yeah,
I
this
mean, I still don't want to draft Caleb Williams. I know I've been hit in the head with a rock. I fell down, but it's going to be okay.
oh, you do you, brother.
All right,
You do you.
that was an interesting talk. Let's talk about the next guy. This guy here, it doesn't matter where he lands. He's a star, and that's Malik Neighbors. The next two guys where we talk about, and even Rome Tuesday, doesn't matter where he lands. He's a stud. He's the guy. And
I
he's
just
just
wish
happened to land on a team that had 2 top 10 players. That's what hurt him. Malik Neighbors is going somewhere with who? Who's these wide receivers again? What? Oh,
yeah,
yeah. So I mean,
but I mean, you
they
also got to look at their damn quarterback situation too. It's not the very best either.
but I think he's a skilled enough wide receiver to adjust. And that's a key thing to watch. So Roma Tuesday was well known for adjusting for Michael Penix. Can Malik Neighbors do it? I think Malik Neighbors is skilled enough to do it. He didn't have to do it because he had accurate quarterbacks. It's different when you go out there and you have a quarterback that is less accurate and you're going to get the ball than having a quarterback that's very accurate, putting it in your chest every time. Malik Neighbors, I think, is talented enough to know, okay, the ball, I need to adjust and I can reach and get it. And he's big enough to do it. He's 6 foot, he's 200 pounds. He's won contested catches before. He can get up there and get it with the best of them. So I honestly think he's going to have a good year. The wide receiver has him ranked 30. I honestly believe he'll rank in the top 15 because I think he'll be the wide receiver one for the Giants. I think that's all the Giants will have. They have nothing else.
I agree. Malik Neighbors is the number one. He's a stud. This damn quarterback situation is what's killing me, though. Daniel Jones is not it. And if you just had somebody relatively to what he had with Jaden Daniels last year, if you had anybody on this team that was actually at least close to that, we could probably see something be better. But Daniel Jones is not it, and Drew Lock is not it either. Tommy DeVito, the our Italian guy from last year that everyone loved so much, he's not it either. understand why they went with the Malik Neighbors. I still thought they should have went with the quarterback, but hey, they got a wide receiver for the future. I guess if we're doing it, we're gonna rock with Daniel Jones. But I would make it just this one year. Like rock with Daniel Jones this year and get you somebody else.
Yeah, so they
'Cause-
Tommy DeVito, you're right. He's not going to do it, but they went ahead and picked up Drew Lock from Seattle. He's not going to do it.
no, that's just why Malik Neighbors is still gonna finish in the top 15. I believe. I
Dude,
believe that.
I do believe they picked up a decent running back, Devin Singletary. I think that was a good pick from Houston. I think they'll help out the Giants. I still believe Malik, like you said, Malik Labors is the number one guy. He's going to have to make plays on his own. He's going to have to make them happen. And I kind of believe he is the guy to do it. After that discussion, if I can get this computer to work right, there we go. Let's go to the great man that we're going to talk about. Future star, future Hall of Famer, maybe. Maybe. I think really the last three, I honestly believe we were talking about all future Hall of Famers. I mean, I want to say all three of these guys are going to probably have a successful career. Now,
Uh,
just being hopeful, you don't usually see three guys in the same class do it, but I don't think it's impossible.
that's you already done throwing the Hail Mary on that one, but I'm gonna let you have your fun.
All right, so they got Marvin Harris Jr. I got him ranked number one. You have him ranked number one. He's going to Arizona. He's going to control that wide receiver room. He's going to be the number one guy.
He already has control over it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's definitely going to be. I will be drafting him in two of my dynasty leagues. So I am very excited to know that I'll have someone like that on my team, and hopefully, he is all what everybody's hyped to be. He's just like his father. It makes my room a little bit stronger, and I got DJ Moore, so I'm hoping DJ Moore wins keeps ahead of everybody else. But it's kind of hard when you bring a 6 and an 8 in the same room. Either one of them can take the lead. It really depends on the quarterback of who he decides he's going to be pitching to. And he could decide not to pitch to either one of them. So, or throw, not pitch. We're not baseball. I'll correct that before someone out there corrects me. Like, he's talking about football, but he doesn't understand it. He's talking about pitching the ball. Why is that? That's crazy.
Hey, sometimes they mesh together.
Overall, they got him projected as 18 wide receiver. Overall player for scoring, they have him projected 55. And he's projected to score over 224 points for a PPR. That's pretty good for a wide receiver. It'd be averaging about 15 points a game. Gonna be
That's
exciting.
that's Jamar Chase numbers almost.
I know. And he's got Kyle Murray. Kyle Murray comes back as Kyle Murray.
And I think he will because the only time he's ever finished out of the top 10 in his whole career is when he had his ACL injury and last year when he
Yeah.
was coming back from his injury. So I think a year removed off of that ACL injury, and I believe we could see some greatness here. And Marvin Harrison is just going to gobble it all up.
So just to kind of recap on our top 10, I mean, I want to recap and then talk about one more thing before we end the wide receiver talk. So right now, starting with number one, me and Austin both agree Marvin Harris. Going to number two, we both agree Malik Neighbors. Number three, we both agree Roma Tuesday. Four, Austin has Xavier Worthy. For the Chiefs, I have Lade McConkey. Five, we both agree Brian Thompson. Number six, Austin has Lade McConkey, and I have Keenan Coleman. Number seven, Austin has Ricky Purcell. I have Xavier Worthy. Number eight, Austin has Keenan Coleman for the Bills. I have Xavier Liggett. Number nine, Adonio Mitchell, and I also agree with him. And in number 10, Austin has Xavier Liggett, and I have Luke McCaffrey. I think both lists are good. I think they're both either list. We'll post them on our X page for you guys to pick up if you want to use them for your draft. I think these guys would be good pickups on a dynasty football league. It'd be exciting. What amazed me about last year is we always talk about Jefferson And I know he got hurt last year. We always talk about Jamal Chase. He only missed one game. So really there's no excuse. Well, we can give him the excuse that
Well, Joe Burrow got hurt.
yeah, we can say Joe Burrow was the issue, even though the other quarterback was doing just fine. Jamar
Not Joe
Chase.
Burrow. No, not Joe Burrow level.
Yeah, that's true. He's not no Joe Burrow. Okay, you got me. But Justin Jefferson ended up finishing 33 last year, but he still is considered in the ADP as one of the top wide receivers to draft.
Because he
Because
is.
yeah, he is, and there's no doubt. And they did the same thing with other wide receivers that were like top notch that got hurt and then come back. Now, hopefully, he comes back with no issues. Time will tell. But what I was excited to see, watching some of the other wide receivers excel, like CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, St. Brown, Puka Nuka, AJ Brown, DJ Moore, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen, Stephen Diggs, and Devontae Adams, which normally Devontae Adams is always up there. So is Stephon Diggs. So is Keenan Allen. So is Mike Evans. I don't think the only new guy up there was Puka. So I mean, I don't know. Most of them would have either finished in the top 15 anyway. So I mean, Justin Jefferson left that number one spot open for someone this year, and that was exciting to see someone else hold it for wide receiver, but doesn't mean they hold it in the ADP. ADP, I think CeeDee Lamb. Oh, he's
Wow.
in tier one. He's number 3, anywhere between 1
Yeah,
or 9.
I was gonna say anywhere between. Honestly, I see a lot of people picking him at 1 or 2.
Yeah, so he's between 1 or 9. He's in an elite class now. I mean, he's in the class with Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Bijan Robinson. And yes, I was a Bijan Robinson hater. Now I have to concede my hate to realize that he is great. And it all because of my blindness of wanting to bang the drum. Sometimes banging the drum ain't always right. I'll admit it when I'm wrong. That's one I got wrong, but that ain't all the time. Brees Hall definitely deserves to be a tier one. So that's exciting. And the only rookie that got into tier two was Marvin Harris Jr., wide receiver.
You could make a you could really make a strong argument and actually take CD Lamb at either 1 or 2.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
You
mean,
could
they even have it
really
here. They even
you
have it
could
here.
really like so you could have an argument. Yeah, you could either take CD, Justin Jefferson, or Jamar Chase, and I wouldn't see that crazy at all. Hell, I've seen people take Justin Jefferson at like number 5 now. That's because some people, it all just depends on if you believe in JJ McCarthy or whatever. And 181 targets at 135 receptions. That was, and over 1,700 yards and 12 touchdowns. That's the best year for CD Lamb. And as I checked, Dak is still the quarterback for at least this coming year, so I expect to see the same result.
Christian McCaffrey not in a tier one spot for Dynasty anymore. But that's because of his age. Now, if you take him out of Dynasty,
That's
I'm sure he's a tier one. So let's go outside of Dynasty ranking. Best ball, they got him in tier one, ranked number 1. Christian McCaffrey. So your redrafts, your best balls, McCaffrey will be your number 1 player. But he is also the highest scoring player from last year. So he outscored everybody by 100 points more. So it's like for offensive ball. So I see that. That's just neat how a lot of people don't realize that Dynasty makes a difference in what you're drafted for. So we're like focused on Dynasty right now because that's where we're at in our rankings. But I just thought that was interesting to see him down in tier 2. It's been a long time, but a lot of that's age. All right.
Yeah, that's all that is.
Well, this was a good review. I enjoyed going over our top 10. Look forward to the next episode where we cover our tight ends. I'm so excited about that. Yeah, if you guys like
Gotta
the
get
content, please hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And we are putting everything on our Twitter page or X page. It's at TDFFMS, and it's the name, the Dynasty Fantasy Football Maniacs. So, I mean, it has our same logo as the YouTube logo. Once you click on our X page, you'll find us. And what we are doing is dropping all of our rankings and all of our opinions there. So you're more than welcome to follow us. Would really enjoy you to follow us and pick up some of our content. You have anything else, Austin?
Yes. Make sure y'all comment. We would love to hear y'all give any ideas, or if you hate us, we want to know why you hate us.
Yes,
We don't
please tell
mind
me.
it.
Don't
we
mind
don't
at
mind.
all.
We don't mind it at all. We just need we need more lingo and communication with the comments, especially when we get ready to gear up for our drafts and mock drafts and best ball drafts. So we need a lot of participation from anybody. So please comment, and obviously, like my good friend here done said, like, subscribe, and please share, because sharing is caring.
So we are getting closer to posting a date for a live draft. And this is just a pre-date. Post it on our Twitter page. So go there to find it. And then once we get that date settled, we'll also mention it in the show so you guys can get the link. We're undecided what platform we're going to do it on. We'll be drafted for the sleeper platform, but we want to be able to do it in a group environment. So we did go out and create a Discord page. We'll also try to get that information out on our Twitter page, so you can go to our Discord, join the chat room there, and we'll try to arrange something where we could do the actual draft there, or maybe just do the draft in sleeper, and me and Austin will talk to it and then release the recording, or we'll try to go live again. One of the two, but we'll definitely have a date in the upcoming week or so. So keep your ear out, go to the page, follow us. And if you're gonna get the information first, you're gonna get it there at the Twitter page before you get it on the show. So definitely want you guys to get ready for that, because that's gonna be exciting. All right, thank you guys. And keep watching, please. And sharing is caring. All right.